I'm looking forward to all of this, but I'm not going to rush into it. I'm doing my best to keep a cap, if you will, on my energy level because it's important, and it'll start making sense when I start sharing with you explicit content from Sarah Palin's speech that she gave for Trump. But I'll tell you, in addition to what's happening on the Republican side, there's all kinds of stuff happening on the Democrat side. And let me just give you a little sample. A .50 caliber rifle found at El Chapo's hideout in Mexico came from Obama's Fast and Furious program. A .50 caliber rifle found at El Chapo's hideout in Mexico was funneled through the gun smuggling investigation known as Fast and Furious, sources confirmed yesterday to Fox News. Former Attorney General Eric Holder was held in contempt after he refused to divulge documents for a congressional investigation into the matter. If you recall, a .50 caliber rifle is massive. It can stop a car. It can take down a helicopter. And El Chapo was found to have one in his possession. And it was part of Obama's Fast and Furious operation. Now, for those of you new to the program or people with short memories, let me give you the Cliff Notes version of Fast and Furious. It is something that Obama and Eric Holder initiated in their first term. Eric Holder, the Attorney General. They desperately, like all liberals, wanted massive new gun control legislation or executive orders. They wanted to get guns out of the hands of law-abiding citizens because, by definition, that's the only people you can take them away from. By definition, you're not going to get guns out of the hands of criminals because, by definition, criminals are breaking the law and they'll do whatever it takes to get a gun. The only guns you can go get are held by the law-abiding. But it's a rite of passage, an article of faith in liberalism that guns are bad in the hands of people. The Second Amendment, stupid and folly, shouldn't be there, and we got to go get people's guns. So they hatched a program which was actually something that got started during the Bush administration but was abandoned. And what Obama and Holder did was build on the Bush program. The Bush program was nothing at all like Fast and Furious ended up to be. It just provided the foundation. And it was very simple. The Obama administration allowed guns like this, assault rifles, .50 caliber rifles, massively huge, powerful weapons, to be sold in gun stores in the Southwest, Phoenix, for example, and they were then allowed to be taken across the border into Mexico. The plan was, it really was, that these guns purchased legally in American gun stores would then be used in horrible crimes south of the border. When these horrible crimes took place, featuring much murder and mayhem, the news media was supposed to react with outrage, report the details, and focus on the fact that this wouldn't have happened if it weren't for gun laws in America, which makes the sale of these weapons perfectly legal. So mayhem was supposed to ensue after the regime allowed these guns to cross the border after having been sold. And what the desired result was that the American people would be so mad and express such outrage that they would stand up in unison and demand that the government do something about all these guns. That didn't happen. Fast and Furious was an absolute failure because the regime continually, then as now, misunderstands the American people and the relationship they have with the Second Amendment, the role of guns legally in people's lives. So it didn't happen. And the program was then, after all this, it was discovered and it had a name, Fast and Furious. And the short version is that when it was discovered for what it was, people started describing it, such as me here on this program and many others. The regime started to deny it. No, it didn't happen. It's crazy. made it sound like there was nothing to it. I think a border agent ended up dead as a result of Fast and Furious. There was one American death, and it was a Border Patrol agent. I think same issue. So anyway, it was a total bomb from the regime standpoint. The guns are still in the hands, as the evidence in this story. A .50 caliber rifle purchased in an American gun store ends up in the arsenal of El Chapo, who happens to be the drug kingpin of Mexico. Did you see that they discovered some people digging another tunnel at his prison the other day? Just right out in the middle of the day, they found some people digging another tunnel to get the guy out of there. They weren't even waiting to do it under cover of darkness. And then there's a companion story from the Politico. An Obama-appointed federal judge has rejected Obama's executive privilege claim over Fast and Furious records. The Justice Department's own public disclosures undercut the president's privilege claims, says the judge, Amy Berman Jackson. She rejected Obama's assertion of executive privilege to deny Congress access to records pertaining to the operation, which is essentially, it was a gun-running operation run by the United States government to get guns into the hands of criminals in Mexico so they could raise hell, mayhem, cause outrage in the American media that was supposed to bleed over to the American public, where the public would demand something get done. Now people want to see the records of the program. Obama says, no, you guys in Congress don't have the right. It's executive privilege. And the judges told him to go pound sand. One of the judges he appointed. By the way, Fast and Furious involved thousands of weapons. Not just a handful of guns, not just a few .50 caliber rifles, but thousands of guns were allowed to cross the border. There's nothing alleged about Fast and Furious. It did allow thousands of weapons to be sold to drug dealers in Mexico. The only question is whether this was the sole purpose of the program. A lot of experts think that Obama wanted the drug cartels to commit such heinous crimes with these U.S. weapons. The public would demand more gun control laws. That's count me in that camp. And that's what people are trying to get to the bottom of.